For those of you who don't know me, my name is Helen. I cheered at Cheerstrong for like 15 years. I started as a very young kid, probably like 4 or 5, and it wasn't called Cheerstrong when I started cheering. I started off, as a youngin' on like the football cheer team. We used to cheer on the Hawkeyes. Then I was on mini for like 4 years, and then youth too for like a couple of years. Junior 3, I was on senior 3, senior 4, and then IO 5 and open 4.2. I don't remember if it was senior 4.2. Definitely senior 4.2. So I've had quite the cheer journey. I am a Ryerson student. I'm about to graduate, so that's exciting. And I coached at Cheerstrong for a few years. I think I started when I was 16 and stopped cheering and I stopped coaching when I stopped cheering. So the reason I stopped cheering was because I was moving off to university, but otherwise I would cheer for the rest of my life because I loved it so much. I was in the gym, 7 days a week for the majority of my high school career. So I was definitely busy, but I learned about time management, prioritizing, school first, and, everything else after that. So cheer has been my thing my whole life. I've done cheer longer than I haven't, if that makes sense. So anyways, what I'll be talking about today is some of the things that I've learned throughout the years of cheer and how I've carried it on throughout my life. I could go on for literally hours about how I've learned so much through cheer, not only, skill-wise, but stuff you can take and apply into real life situations or whatever. So, that being said, I'll just name, a couple that really stood out to me. So the first thing I took away from cheering at Cheerstrong was perseverance and self-awareness. I found that in cheerleading, because I loved it so much, there are some things, you gotta push through. Especially for me specifically, tumbling was an area in cheerleading that I struggled with because I, physically could do it. I was skilled enough to tumble, but mentally there was something stopping me for years. I made it past level 2 tumbling, and all of a sudden it frightened me to no end, to flip basically. That being said, it kind of just taught me that sometimes when you love something so much, there are things you gotta push through, and I apply that in real life all the time. Not everything is gonna be sunshine and rainbows, but at the end of the day, you're not gonna remember all that negative or the bad stuff that you push through because you love what you do so much. And that's why I kept cheerleading, because it brought me so much joy, and the people around were so loving and caring, and it was just my safe place. So that's what helped me push through, cheering. And some ways that I've applied that perseverance that I learned through cheer into my life is, in schooling especially, when you go to post-secondary, whether that's college or university or whatever you choose, it can be difficult to push through some of the things that, again, you don't enjoy so much, but it's because you are striving to do something that you love, or your dream job or something of that sort. So for me, in my program at school, I love the creative side. I definitely am into the art part of my program, but there are other aspects of the program that maybe I don't enjoy so much, and I'm sure other people experience that too. Like, there's some classes that I didn't do so well in or didn't like as much, but at the end of the day, I'm doing it for myself, and I'm doing it to improve so that in the future I do what I love. And yeah, I may not like it, but it's good to know, it's good to have. So pushing through the hard times, the busy times, ultimately doing all of it to reach your goals. So yeah, I feel like perseverance is a really important takeaway from cheerleading because, you know, like I said, not everything's sunshine and rainbows, and it sucks, but I don't know. Yeah, if that made any sense. Now, when it comes to self-awareness, I would say the way that I learned that is through understanding, like really understanding myself and the people around me. So when you're on a cheerleading team, it's a team, but without self-awareness, it can be hard to take criticism or to, you know, figure out what's best for you at the end of the day. Because yes, it's a team sport, but essentially what you're doing is bettering yourself to better your team. So for example, throughout my cheer journey, closer to the end, I guess, I had a couple injuries, and I learned that when you push yourself too far, it's not only affecting you but your team. Now you have to sit out, and now the pyramid can't go, or something like that. But I think it's important to understand that it's not selfish to sit out, because you're doing it for your team and for yourself, obviously. But I don't know, that's a pretty specific scenario, but I just feel like being self-aware is really important in the sport and out, because without it, maybe you could get defensive when you are receiving constructive criticism, and that makes it difficult for other people to work with you or something like that. Also being able to recognize maybe your faults, and I know it's a team sport, but putting the blame on others or anything like that can really affect everyone around you. So being able to recognize that, hey, like, oh, that stunt fell, that was my bad, or anything like that. It's really important to be humble, I guess, and make sure that you're doing it for your team and for you. And applying that in real life is important too, because it shows honesty, and I feel like it shows integrity, being able to understand, like, hey, I messed up. So, like, I understand that, you know, sometimes that means we have consequences, or that means that these people that you're working with potentially, or, you know, your peers at school or something like that, they understand that, okay, she gets it, or they get it. They're gonna be, I don't know what I'm saying. Basically what I'm trying to say is that being self-aware is for you, but also for the people around you. So understanding yourself is important for when you are working with other people or doing your own things too. So yeah, I've applied it in school, in work, my interactions with other people, my bosses, anything like that. It's important to understand, you know, when you've messed up or when you've done well. So yeah. Now the next thing that I've learned can come off a little bit strange, but hear me out here for a second. So one thing that I really benefited from cheer is my interactions with people, social, you know, in school, that kind of stuff. And I feel like that's important for me, because when you interact with people, especially in a group setting, like for a group project, for example, it's important to understand people's strengths, their weaknesses, so that you can work together to put your strengths together and come up with something amazing, or whatever you're doing in that situation. But it's important to understand that everyone is different, everyone learns differently, something that one person may believe is different from another, or something that someone's good at is different from someone else. So it's important to understand that not everybody's like you, and when you work with other people, it's important to take that into account and be understanding of other people, because you don't know what's going on with them also. I've found that, especially recently, during the pandemic and everything, someone's life is like this much, and maybe that much about them. Even when you're close with them, I don't know if you'll ever know exactly what's going on, right? So it's important to be, sympathetic for other people. Of course, to a certain extent, because, I don't know. I just feel like it's important to be understanding and kind of get where other people are coming from before you jump onto anything. In cheer, and even as a coach, when you're teaching someone or helping somebody, when you understand something and someone doesn't, there's no point in putting that person down for not understanding it just because you do. So it's important to put into perspective how other people are taking the information and what you can do to help them and make them feel welcomed and comforted. I don't know if that makes sense, but I feel like I've learned that through cheerleading, because you interact with so many people in the cheerleading world, whether it's on your team, from other gyms, your coaches, and that changes so often. There's new athletes that join you. Sometimes you get a new coach every year because you're moving up, or because you're aging up, or whatever the case is. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of how I've learned to interact with other people, and it can be nerve-wracking. Trust me, I know, I feel that, but feeling like you're listening and understanding someone can make them feel so much better about talking to you or being comfortable with you. And on a team setting like that, it's really, really important to be like that with everyone, whether you're friends or not, because you're a team and teams work together. There's no I in team, everybody. So yeah, I hope that made sense. And some other, things with interacting with people is just like being social and being welcoming and being comfortable with other people. And I feel like a lot of the things I've said have kind of revolved around being on a team, which in real life settings you are all the time, especially in school. You're in group projects that maybe you don't get to choose your friends, but that's fine. You are learning how to interact with people that may not be as much like you as your friends are. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's just important because you learn how to be friendly and open for people you're not familiar with. Does that make sense? I don't know. I hope that makes sense, everybody. But yeah. Now I'm just gonna quickly chat about how I've learned to take cheer and put it into what I love doing. So I am in school in a program called Graphic Communications Management, which is a mouthful, I know. But basically, to sum it up very briefly, it's just, graphic design, business, and print all in one program. But I've used what I've learned in school and in cheer because I am a part of the, social media team at Cheer Strong, and I have been since like 2017, which is when I started school. So I have been making a lot of the Instagram posts for 4 years now, I think. So whatever you see on the Instagram, a lot of the time that's me. Sometimes it's Alicia. But anyways, I think because I love being creative, it's even better when I put it into Cheer Strong, because when you're familiar with what you're designing, it makes it so much easier and so much more fun because, but anyways, it just being able to do what I love plus doing what I love. I'm still, you know, interacting with the cheer gym even though I don't cheer anymore. It's just comforting and fun. I love designing the Instagram posts. It helps me, you know, build my portfolio. It helps me gain experience in my industry, which is really beneficial for me, which I never really thought would be an option, but ever since I've been doing this, it's helped me so much. I've, you know, gotten positions in schools, or I've gotten positions in like student groups at school as a graphic designer because of the stuff I've done for Cheer Strong. So it's just an awesome, you know, stepping stone for being able to move on in my industry and move up and do what I love and, you know, gain experience. I don't know. But yeah, that being said, I think that's all I've got for you today. I hope this helped you, and I hope that cheer can help you learn about yourself and about how you can take things and apply them into your life. And yeah, thanks for watching, everybody.